Hey everyone, welcome to your Vinyasa practice. New focus for the next few weeks will be on a series of balancing poses. And balancing poses can be challenging for many reasons, physically and mentally. I think it's easy to get kind of frustrated when you fall out of a balance and get down on yourself for not being strong enough, not understanding the pose, or just being frustrated. So know that that might come up for you. And that is part of the process of strengthening those muscles that help us stand and sit and walk and run and staying agile as we age, which is important. For this practice, it'd be good to have something that you can use like blocks, or I have my little stool here that I'm just going to set at the top of my mat. It's about block height. It doesn't have to be perfect. You could use a chair, get creative with what you have at home. We'll lay down on our backs in constructive rest pose is where we'll start. And so you can take your feet wide on your mat, knees bent, and let your knees knock into each other. And then take one hand to the low belly and one hand to the rib cage. Roll your shoulders down your back. Slightly tilt your chin in towards your chest. Start to consciously breathe in and out through your nose. Maybe close your eyes. Let yourself arrive here onto your mat, into your practice, on purpose. Let's just take about 3 to 4 more deep, slow belly breaths here to arrive today. Dedicating this next 30 minutes to giving yourself some time just for you. Remember that you can always modify or skip anything that I'm suggesting. These are all really just suggestions and things for you to try and see how they feel. Let's take one more breath here in our constructive rest pose. And we'll start to hug the knees into the chest, rock a little bit side to side. Our balancing posture today that we'll focus on will mainly be a series of warrior 3 poses, Virabhadrasana 3. Which requires the standing leg that you're on, the back of the leg, including hamstring and calf muscles and a little bit into the glute to be relatively lengthened. And then the leg that you're stretching back behind you for that leg to be strong, that quadricep muscle engaged and the whole leg active. And that requires some back strength and some core strength. So we'll prepare ourselves for that appropriately. Let's start to take the hands towards the soles of the feet, come into happy baby for a few moments. If the hands don't easily reach the feet, you can always take the backs of the knees or hold on to the backs of the calves. You can continue rocking a little bit side to side here. See if you can breathe in and out through your nose for the whole practice. And if you do notice that your breathing is becoming labored and it's too quick or it's too hard to breathe in and out through the nose, probably a good signal to take a break, rest in child's pose, or take a little mini shavasana until you can come back to the practice while breathing in and out through the nose. Start to rock the length of the mat, up and down, tip of the tailbone to the back of the head, just a few times, rolling out the whole spine. And next time you come forward, we'll turn around and find tabletop. Again, if you haven't already grabbed your props to set them at the top of the mat, those are just going to be like an extension of your arms to make your arms a little bit longer. So it could be chair, stool, or blocks. In tabletop, let's tuck the toes under. So tuck those toes under, sink the hips back towards the heels. This is going to be an active child's pose. So toes tucked, you're pressing down to the ball mound of the foot, extending the arms forward and relaxing the forehead towards the mat. Even if it doesn't touch, that's okay. Let's take 3 deep breaths here.
Last breath here. All right, so we'll really strongly pull forward through the hands, come into that tabletop. Toes are still tucked, so let's lift the knees up and then arrive into high plank. Okay, so high plank, wiggle those feet back. So you have a nice long spine from the top of the head all the way down to the heel bone, pressing the floor away. There's a slight round through the upper back, and then just begin to rock forward and backward. So it's like you're rolling towards the big toe and back towards the ball mound of the feet, forward to the big toe, back towards the ball mound of the feet, just shifting forward and backward on your mat. Next time you shift forward, pause, hold it, breathe in, press the floor away, round through the upper back. Breathing out, knees down, come all the way onto the belly. Extend your arms forward, thumbs facing the ceiling. It's like you're karate chopping the floor with your hands. We'll do a few Superman variations to warm up the back body. We'll inhale and lift the feet, lift the chest, lift the head, lift the arms. Deep breath in here, just hold, just holding. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Reaching forward through those fingertips, back through those toes. I like to point my toes to keep the legs active and muscles engaged. Take one more breath in here, stretch through fingertips, back through toes, and then exhale, palms underneath the shoulders, tucking those toes once more, press up to tabletop, back to child's pose with the toes tucked. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Inhale, exhale. With those strong hands, pull yourself forward all the way into that high plank. Remember, the toes are already tucked, so it's just like you're rolling forward into high plank. And this time we'll press into the hands, lift the hips up, downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, start to settle in here. Feel free to adjust the feet, adjust the hands, maybe pedal out the knees right and left, bend the knees right and left. Check back in with your breath. Good, and then let's take our big toes to touch at the back of the mat. Press strongly through those palms. Inhale, right leg, lift it up and back. And then exhale, right foot back to down dog. So you're just gonna lift and lower that right leg. In and out of down dog to three-legged dog. One more time, inhale, right leg lifts. Pause there, breathe in. Exhale, shift forward, right knee, hug that into the chest and plant the foot up at the top of the mat in between the hands. Come up onto your fingertips. Deep breath in here, low lunge. Back knee lifted, back leg engaged. It's kind of like you're in a halfway lift in your upper body. Now crawl your hands forward. Maybe that's where your props are. Either way, crawl your fingertips forward. So you're extending through your arms. Start to feel that weight shift forward into the right foot and then float the left leg up and back, just hip height. Okay, just hip height. So the leg is not reaching for the ceiling. It's just stretching right back behind you like it's coming straight out of the hip socket. The leg is parallel with the floor. Left leg is parallel with the floor. Deep breath in, get strong through the upper back, get strong through the core, strong through that standing leg, right big toe pressing strongly into the floor. And then lower the left foot. Left foot meets the right foot, fold over the legs, Uttanasana, forward fold. Upper body drapes over the legs, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift again. Strong core, strong back. Exhale, forward fold. Let your head be heavy here. Little bend in those knees. Press through the feet. Reverse, uncurl the spine. Come all the way to standing at the top of the mat. Press down through the feet. Inhale, sweep the arms out. Reach up. And then exhale, we'll fold right back in. Inhale, find that halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees enough to plant the palms. Step back to high plank. Set the knees down. Toes are still tucked. Hips to heels. Child's pose. Active child's pose. Toes tucked. Pressing through those hands, extending the arms forward. When I say active child's pose, I mean arms are engaged just as if they were in down dog. So grip the mat with your fingertips, elbows are lifted. You're pulling your hips back towards your heels and your toes are tucked. Keep that tuck of the toes. We'll inhale, pull the body forward into high plank. So take it nice and slow, high plank. Once you're there, breathe in, press the floor away. There's that slight round through the upper back. And then exhale, shift forward onto the toes, lower nice and slow with or without the knees, all the way to the belly. And then reach the arms forward. We'll find that Superman, thumbs pointing towards the ceiling, toes stretching back behind you. Inhale, lift everything off the mat, except for the pelvis, of course. So fingertips reaching forward, toes reaching back, big breath in here. And then exhale, palms underneath the shoulders. Again, tuck your toes, press up to tabletop, back to child's pose. Give me one big breath here. Pull the body forward nice and slow, rippling into high plank. From high plank, press through the hands, hips rise, downward facing dog. Settle into down dog. 3 breaths. If you can, in and out through the nose. If you can't, take a break. Child's pose is always there for you. In your down dog, we'll root through the hands. Big toes come together to touch at the back of the mat. Sweep that left leg up and back. And then lower the left foot back to down dog. So just a couple of times. Left leg rises. Left leg lowers. Left leg rises. Left leg lowers. One more time. Left leg rises. Give yourself a nice big stretch. Reach back and up through those left toes. Deep breath in. Exhale, shift forward. Hug that knee into the chest and plant the foot at the top of the mat. Come up onto your fingertips. Find that lunge. See if you can find a back bend-like sensation in the upper back. So it's kind of like low cobra here in your lunge. Your right leg is active. That quadricep muscle is engaged. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. We're going to crawl our hands forward towards our prop if we're using it. So you're extending your arms forward of your mat. Start to feel that weight shift forward into that left foot. Float the right leg up and back. Turn those right pinky toes down to face the floor. Right hip point parallel with the floor. Right leg parallel with the floor. So no higher than the hip. The right leg is extending back. You're balancing your weight on the left leg, the standing left leg. I find it helpful to press down through that left big toe mound. Stay strong through the core and the upper back. Deep breath in. And then exhale, lower right foot to meet the left foot. Fold over the legs, Uttanasana, forward fold. Just fold over the legs. Give yourself a moment here to breathe, relax the back body. And then let's inhale, halfway lift, fingertips to shins, integrity to the whole spine. Include that core, include those back muscles. Exhale, fold again. Root through the feet, uncurling the spine. Head will come up very last. When you get to standing at the top of the mat, breathe in, sweep the arms out, reach up. And then exhale, we'll fold right back in. We're going to add on to our little flow. Inhale here, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, step back to high plank. So in our high plank, our toes are already tucked. All we have to do is set those knees down, shift the hips back towards the heels, find that active child's pose. Big breath in here. Big breath out. Press through those palms, shift forward to high plank. Lower with control, with or without the support of the knees, all the way to the belly. Immediately extend the arms forward. Big breath in, that ISO hold, there's Superman, thumbs pointing up towards the ceiling. And everything, all the limbs and the chest and the head lifting away from the floor. And then exhale, palms underneath the shoulders, tuck those toes, press up to hands and knees, active child's pose. Take one breath here. Pull through those palms, come forward. You know the drill. High plank first, then down dog. Downward facing dog, 3 breaths. So muscle memory is a real thing. We're going to tap back into those quadricep muscles, ankle stabilizers, knee stabilizers, hip stabilizers, all those little tiny muscles around the joints to help us balance in Virabhadrasana 3. I'm going to give you some optional add-ons. Okay, so big toes to touch at the back of the mat. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, right foot lowers in and out of downward facing dog to 3-legged dog. You're just lifting and lowering that right foot a few times. One more time to extend the right leg up and back. Pause there, big breath in. Exhale, shift forward, right foot plants at the top of the mat. Come up onto your fingertips. Get really rooted through that right foot. And then extend your arms forward if you're using a prop, fingertips on that prop. Start to shift all that weight into the right foot until you can float the left leg up and back. Just hip height. Dial those left toes down to face the floor. See if you can balance here. You can take the hands away from your prop. Maybe the hands to the heart. One variation of Virabhadrasana 3. You could take the arms back like an airplane. You really want to challenge the spinal muscles, the back body. Extend the arms straight forward like we did on our bellies, Superman arms. And then exhale, lower everything to your forward fold at the top of the mat. Left foot meets the right foot. Shake the knees out, right and left, right and left. Move the upper body side to side as the knees bend right to left. And then inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Root through your feet. Start to uncurl the spine. Come to standing. Breathing in, arms reach out and up. On your exhale, we'll fold right back in. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. High plank. Set your knees down. Keep those toes tucked. Hips to heels, active child's pose. So remember, active child's pose includes the arms. The arms are pressing, or the fingertips rather, are pressing down. The elbows are lifted. Basically, you have downward facing dog arms in this variation of child's pose. On our next inhalation, we'll pull the body forward into high plank. We'll exhale, lower all the way to the belly with or without the knees. Inhale for a full breath into your Superman. Arms stretch forward, thumbs reach for the ceiling. And then exhale, palms underneath the shoulders, toes tuck. Hips shift back towards the heels. Child's pose. One big breath here. Forward to high plank. Hips rise, downward facing dog. Okay, so second side, downward facing dog. Big toes touch at the back of your mat. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, left foot lowers. Inhale, lift that left leg, stretch it up and back. Exhale, lower it. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more time to lift that left leg, reach it up and back, stretch. Exhale, shift forward, left foot plant it between the hands. Come to your fingertips, pause here in your lunge. Get strong in your upper body, so can you get light on your fingertips? And then start to reach your arms forward so the hands or the fingertips are forward of your mat, on your prop or the floor. Then you're going to shift all that weight forward to the left foot, float the right leg up and back. Okay, once you've established the balance here, and maybe you need to stay in supported Virabhadrasana 3 with the fingertips on your prop or the floor, that's fine. But if you want to add on, hands may come to the heart. Hands may reach back for airplane. You really want that challenge, arms can reach forward towards that Superman-like shape.
My wall's getting in my way, so I'm just reaching one arm forward. Wherever you are, take one more big breath in. And then exhale, forward fold, top of the mat. Right foot meets the left foot, fold in. Bend the knees, right and left. Right and left, right and left. Sway the upper body side to side. Whew. I don't know about you, but my back body is coming online. It is on fire. So I know the back muscles are doing the work. Hopefully you're also feeling this in the glute and the hamstrings, not just the low back. So everything needs to work together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Root through those feet, start to uncurl the spine, come all the way to standing. Arms reach out and up. Big breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. This time we're just going to step it right back into down dog. Downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Big breath in. Big breath out. So we've been through our flow a few times. I want to give you an option to add on to that warrior 3. So from our down dog, big toes touch. And after we move through this last little sequence, we'll cool it down and have Shavasana. Start off by inhaling, right leg lifting, just one time here. On your exhale, shift forward, right knee into the chest, plant the foot at the top of the mat, come to your fingertips, pause here, breathe in, get long and strong through the spine. Walk the fingertips forward, find your prop if you're using it, shift the weight forward into the right foot, left leg floats up. Pick up where you left off in your Virabhadrasana 3. Okay, maybe it was airplane arms, maybe it was hands at the heart, or Superman arms reaching forward. Wherever you are, one more big breath in. And then standing split from here. Okay, so standing split. Fingertips down to the mat, left toes reaching up towards the ceiling. Tuck the chin in, forehead's reaching for that front shin. And it might not connect. Mine doesn't. That's okay. Really, it's more of like a what happens in standing split, really good stretch for the standing balancing leg, the posterior part, so hamstring and calf. Let's come out of that. Forward fold, Uttanasana, forward fold. Left foot meets the right foot. And then inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold back in. Root through those feet, stand up, uncurling the spine. Breathing in, arms reach all the way up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, we'll fold back in. We'll just round out that last side. And then we'll cool it way down. Step back to downward facing dog. Pause in your down dog. 2 breaths here. 2 breaths. Get those big toes to touch at the back of your mat. Inhale, left leg lifts. Pause here, breathe in. And then exhale, shift forward, left foot planted at the top of the mat. Come up to your fingertips, pause, get long and strong through the spine. And then reach those fingertips forward. Feel the weight shift forward onto the left foot. Float the right leg up and back. Return to warrior 3 variation. What variation are you practicing today? Maybe it's just balancing on the left leg with the hands supported underneath the shoulders. That's a great place to be. Wherever you are, one more breath in. And then standing split. So fingertips back to the mat. I kind of walk my hands back so eventually they work towards framing out that left foot. And then I tuck my chin in, move my forehead towards the shin, even though it's not touching, that's okay. Right toes reaching for the ceiling, nowhere near an actual split shape, but I'm giving myself a nice big stretch. And then exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana, release out of that. Forward fold, right foot meets the left foot, top of the mat. Let that go. Bend the knees right and left if you need, shake it out a little bit. One more time, fingertips to shins, halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, forward fold. Let's roll all the way up to standing, reach the arms out and up. And this time as we exhale, we'll fold back over the legs, fingertips to the mat, bend the knees, squat deep, so deep the hips lower to the heels and the heels lift off the mat. And then we're going to walk our hands back behind us, lower our sits bones back to the mat, and come on down to constructive rest where we started our practice. Knees bent, feet wide on your mat, knees knock in towards one another. Now from here, take the knees side to side. Knees go side to side. Next time the knees shift towards the right, pause there. You can take any sort of twist variation that you really enjoy. If you're enjoying this, feel free to stay. If you want to add on or intensify, right ankle, rest on top of outer left knee. Right ankle on top of outer left knee. You might spread those arms wide, broaden across the chest, really ground through the shoulder blades. 3 breaths here. If you have that right ankle crossed, uncross it. Knees back up towards the ceiling. Knees move off to your left. Again, any variation of a twist is welcome. This can be a lot on knees, especially if there's something going on in the knee joints. Feel free to just take a very traditional twist or use support of pillows and blankets and all those things. If you want to add on that left ankle, to me, this intensifies this twist. Left ankle to outer right knee. So that left ankle is resting on top of outer right knee. 3 breaths. We have the ankle crossed, uncross it. Let's move towards hugging the knees into the chest. And then happy baby. Returning kind of like to the way we started our practice. Happy baby, rocking a little bit side to side. So you can really press down into the low back. And if you're rocking side to side, this might feel nice for any icky soreness there. Now let's extend both the feet and both the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Reach, reach, reach through the fingertips and the toes. Deep breath in. And then exhale, lower the legs and the arms. Stretch out on your back. We'll settle into Shavasana. We'll take 1 minute for Shavasana. And we'll set a timer. Feel free to add any props or clothing, eye cover. We'll begin. Relax the shoulders down your back, slightly tilt the chin in towards the chest. Deep breath in through the nose. Open your mouth, exhale the air out. Just 1 minute, you can do that. You can give yourself that time. If you have more time to spare in Shavasana, please feel free to stay longer. If you need to move on, you might start by stretching the arms overhead, breathing into the length of the body, a little wiggle into the fingertips and the toes. Rolling off to a side if you like.
Take a moment in fetal position. And then press to a very brief upright seat. We'll just take a few moments to close out our practice together. Sitting up nice and tall, whichever way is comfortable for you. Hands, palms resting on top of the thighs. Shoulders shift back over the hips. Ears shift back over the shoulders. Deep breath in, grow tall. Breath out, settle. 3 breaths here, just silent, deep breaths in and out through the nose. And then if you like, join me on Jali Mudra, hands together at the heart, bowing the chin into the chest, honoring your practice with reverence and gratitude. May you remember that you will always be okay. May you find a light that guides you and keeps you safe. May you have hope, help, and happiness along the way. Namaste, yogis. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please email me, tessa@tessatovar.com. And I hope you come back again soon. Take care.